I messaged 100 random people on Facebook Marketplace searching for watches I could resell for the $1 to Datsun challenge. And it was wildly successful.
Hey, how we doing?
We're just warming up because we got this whole box of watches here. Astounding deal.
Crowning jewel of the pocket watches is this Caravel. All right, I'm putting the microphone on because something crazy just happened. Pictures didn't come in until like 10 minutes ago, and he sends me this. Can you guys see that?
So first, let's explain the mission. My goal is to buy as many watches as possible for as cheap as possible to resell for our $1 to Datsun challenge, where I'm taking $1 reselling items until I can get my dream car, the Datsun 240Z. Here's the budget. And I came up with this idea because when searching for good deals for watches online, it's very, very difficult to find anyone who is not overpricing their watches. And with it still being cold, my best source to find watches, which is tag sales, are not happening right now, and it's driving me nuts. So I had this idea to message 100 people on Facebook Marketplace, create a template that says, "Hi, this is me. I saw your listing, but I'm not interested in it. I'm looking for watches. Don't mean to be rude or waste anybody's time, but that's what I'm all about. Let me know if you have any." Once I had the template in place, I went ahead and looked for listings that I thought people who owned watches would be selling. So we're talking antiques, we're talking coins, we're talking pocket knives, clocks, Harley Davidson stuff, cars, car parts. Heck, I was even thinking maybe like little old ladies who were selling quilts or pillows or anything like that. I went ahead and sent them a message saying, "Hey Betsy, this is who I am. I'm looking for watches. You got any?" And out of that 100 people, 95 people said no, but 5 people said yes. And we found some absolute bangers, including a holy grail watch that I've been wanting since the very beginning. We found it today on this video. So be sure to stick around, hit the like button, subscribe while you're down there. Let's get into the video. All right, guys, we have an exciting one. This lady got back to me from my cold call, and she said she was just going through her dad's stuff. They're gonna be moving out of my town, and she's like, "Yeah, I actually have a whole bunch of his watches here, and I don't know if they work or not, but you could have them." I asked her what she wanted for them. She said $100, and I said, done deal.
All right, I'm gonna hide the microphone and see if I can get some audio for this interaction. We'll see what happens. All right, they're over here, they arrived. So let's see if I can grab these. I will be right back. Whew. Windy. Hey, how we doing?
We're good, how are you?
So good, thank you so much for meeting me today. I really appreciate it.
Well,
I'm
glad.
Caleb, by the way.
I'm Beth.
Nice to meet
But
you.
you reached out to me, and I'm sorry I didn't respond. I
Oh,
was in
no problem.
Ohio for the weekend.
Oh, wow.
And it was just so random. because
Yeah.
I have this box of
That's
watches,
perfect.
So it was like, I didn't want just to like throw them away.
Yeah, no, there's some really fun pieces in here. I know it's a random message to send out to people, but you know, these kind of things, they get lost and forgotten and then they
Right,
get
and
thrown
honestly,
out. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate
Enjoy.
it. Thank you so much. All right, we acquired the package and there is some great stuff in here. Also, she was very, very nice to deal with, so that was awesome. All right, guys, we're now home and we have these things laid out, including a deal I did not get a chance to film because I didn't have my camera with me. I got this the same day I started the challenge, and let me show you that first really quick because it's very impressive, and then we'll look at what we just picked up. All right, guys, so this is a really cool lot because this is all like vintage movements. There's a lot of really, really cool cases and even movements that are still working and running. Like this is a vintage Benrus right here, or Benrus, and look at that, it is still running. I wound this up this afternoon and it's still going. If it'll focus, check that out. Boom, it's still running. Beautiful Benrus. And I need to show these to you today because I'm doing a whatnot show tomorrow for these parts, and I hope they go well. I will probably have these already sold before this video goes out, so I'll give you the total of how much we made on just this lot of not broken, but parts, you know. All these movements, there's a lot of gemstones in here, there's a lot of good names. Elgin, Benris, Waltham, a lot of ladies movements here. This one, I believe, is from the 1800s. This is an Elgin, I believe. Yep, there's an Elgin. And then also that came with that deal was all of these parts as well. And we're looking at, you know, we got crowns here and different screws and different gems. We have more movements here. Now, I'm not an expert on watch parts, so this is a great opportunity for me to start learning even just the terminology of some of these, like mainsprings and I don't know, different gears and, you know, all the different gems and all that stuff. I'm not sure what all the terminology is. So this is a great way for me to be hands-on, talk to people as I'm selling, and get familiar with all this stuff. And that's kind of what I like doing. Whatever I want to learn, I like to be immersed in so that I can learn it. So if I'm saying something wrong here, you guys just let me know in the comments. I'm just learning. I'm having fun as we go. And the exciting thing about this lot is that I only paid $120 for all of the parts. And that includes a few working movements as well, which I think is a steal because I think that one working movement alone is like $70, $80. I don't know what it's going to sell for, but you know, I think you guys, I think I made profit. We'll see. I hope we made profit. Hopefully I'm not putting my foot in my mouth here. Also, there was like this really cute little pendant watch. It's not running, unfortunately, but the whole thing's really cool. I like these pendant watches. So now let's see what we got in today's astounding deal, because let me tell you something. I've already peeked at some of these and we came up big. All right, we're gonna start here in the little white box. So we got two really nice ladies watches right here. This is a nice Seiko quartz in this nice silver pattern. It's like a crosshatch pattern. It's super nice. You know, these are desirable. These are really nice watches. It's a quartz, so it's not like an automatic, but it's in great condition. So probably a solid bet on that, $30 to $50 for this one. So I want to say that's a pretty safe bet. I haven't looked up numbers. I'll put numbers on the screen most likely, but this lady's Bulova here, this is nice. This is another quartz movement watch, but Bulova is a very nice ladies watch, and men's brand too, of course. They just make really quality watches. So that right there is probably another $50. So right there, that's like, I want to say around $100. So this G-Shock right here is older, but this is the MTG. It's like something 900. It's got a metal and plastic construction. This is a $40 to $100 watch, especially in this condition, and it's not that bad. So pretty stoked about that. This one I set, and it's clearly running. I set this maybe like a couple hours ago, and it's still telling accurate time. Yes, it is 5 past 10 right now. It's got a really cool detail on the back here. And I don't know if you'd call this really a pocket watch. This is more like a little, maybe a pendant watch or something. But this is running like a top. It's called Lady Nelson. So that's really nice. And it's got some nice detail on the crystal around the edges as well. This is a vintage Timex here, manual wind. It is not running. I tried to wind it up. It is not running. This one's also not running, but this is a really interesting old watch here. It's got some very cool details. Obviously, it's being held together with some tape here. Have not looked into this very much, but need to do a little bit more research on this one. But this is I think this is a really old watch, like maybe the 50s or something. This is a Pulsar. I've had these in the past. These are probably like a $15, $20 watch. Nothing too crazy there. But this one was interesting. This is a Helbros ladies watch. This isn't winding, so there's definitely it's stuck. But the bracelet's really cool, and the engraving on the back says Mother and Dad 12/25, so Christmas 1948. So this is a very old watch. That's from the 40s, late 40s. So that's really cool. So right here we got a lot of great watches, but we're just warming up because we got this whole box of watches here, and wait till you see what we find. Now, if you're a watch head, you're probably looking at these getting pretty excited. I was excited when I got this picture because I saw this right here. That is a Zodiac. That's an automatic Zodiac. This is stuck though, so I think I gotta take this to my guy Gary and see if we can get the service, because it is in great condition. Fantastic condition. So that's a very nice watch, worth a few $100s working, worth probably like 150, 200 bucks in its condition now. But that has the potential to be very valuable. This one's caught me off guard. This is a Le Culture. I think that's how you say it. It's an automatic. And I've seen sold comps from $450 non-working all the way up to $1,700 working. And as you can see, it is working. It's keeping time. It's keeping good time. But the thing is that the automatic movement sounds really clunky in the back. So it probably needs a service. So I might give this one a service and pay for the service on this one. Or at least let Gary take a look and let me know what he would do with it. This was an exciting one. I couldn't believe how much that one went for. So not working, 450 bucks. Or around there. This is a Waltham with a super nice blue dial. I love the dial on this thing. It does have a chip here, and I wound it up, and it's not running. The seconds hand ran for a second, but overall it's not running. In that condition, I think it's worth about $50 to $75, so that's really cool. This Timex quartz is cool, but there's no crystal, so unfortunately that's a bit of a bust, but I think I could still get maybe 10, 15 bucks for it. Same thing with this one. This is a LCD quartz Texas Instruments, so that's like the calculator brand. I don't really know much about it, but I think if it was working, it'd be around 20 bucks. This is a Nike Micro Time. I think that's Nike, or maybe it's Mikey. I don't know. I gotta look that up. I don't know. I'll put that on screen, but that's kind of a cool vintage digital. We got this sick Hellbros, and it is running really great. It's been keeping time all day, and I am very pleased with that. Well, all day, last couple hours. And then this Timex 21, this is a 21 jewel self-wind Timex, and I wind this up, and then it goes for a while, and then it sounds like the spring unwinds. So definitely need some work on this here. I got all this from this lady who I randomly reached out to, and she's like, you know what? We're moving, and I just found my dad's watch collection. He passed away years ago. I was thinking about throwing them out. I don't know. So I'm glad you reached out to me. Can you imagine throwing out a Zodiac? I mean, this is why I was doing it this way, because, you know, you look at posts online and people listing them, and there are people that know what they're doing. But how many watches do you think get thrown out every year just because people are like, I don't know if this is worth anything. It's probably just junk. It's not running anymore. Grandpa had this forever ago. It doesn't run. And they don't know it's an automatic or, you know, a self-wind or a wind-up watch or something like that. And they don't know that they're throwing away hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And on top of that, I have my own collection. I'm going to keep that Zodiac most likely. I love Zodiac. And that if I just save that from going in the trash, that's unbelievable. So far, the cold calling or cold messaging that I'm doing is working out pretty great. So let's continue. All right, guys. So we have a bit of an exciting update on this challenge. I just finished the watch part show where I was selling all these little movements and all of these little guys. And I have a friend that I've met on Whatnot, and I will tag him below. He does all sorts of watch repairs and everything. And basically, the show was going really well. We sold 62 items, and a lot of those items were bought by him. So he had seen the Zodiac, which is this guy right here, which we got from that lot from the lady the other day. And he mentioned, he was like, dude, you should send me that Zodiac and I'll service it for you. Now, servicing a watch, for those who don't know, can be very expensive. The tools to get, the know-how to find a local watchmaker, it can be a process. And then sometimes people just don't do vintage watches, which is a shame. But he does. And he was like, dude, I'll service that for you. And I said, I'll tell you what, I'll barter with you. I will give you all the parts left in this box for a service on the Zodiac. I think that would be a pretty fair trade. To which he eagerly agreed. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take this another step forward. I have my personal Zodiac, which I love, but needs a little bit of attention.
We have the blue Waltham that came in that lot that needs a service. And then the La Culture, which is the expensive one. This one goes for $450, not working. This one is working, but you can hear it should not be that loud. So this definitely needs some sort of service. So I said, listen, I'll tell you what. I will give you the rest of all the movements that we have not sold. There's a whole bunch of them. Check this out. So all of these movements, everything here, the rest of the parts, in exchange for servicing these 4 watches. And he's like, that's a good deal. We're going to do it. So I am super excited to be bartering for service to make this watch, instead of like $100 watch, it might be like a $300 or $400 watch. This watch will go from like a $400 or $500 watch, maybe over $1,000. That's crazy. And this one's probably like a $40 watch, and it will probably go up to like about $150. So definitely a good value for trade, because we could have just sat here and pieced these out and probably made a few hundred more dollars. But why waste the time? If we can get that amount of service, may as well do that. Also, actually, I'm just checking Facebook Marketplace, and a gentleman who I reached out to before just sent me a bunch of pictures of some watches. And right off the bat, I'm seeing a Hamilton. Check that out. I'm seeing a Hamilton. I'm seeing a Waltham. I'm seeing a Bulova Accutron, some Seikos, and an old Timex. So looks like this might be a good deal. So I'm going to keep you guys posted on what happens with this one, but this could be a great pickup as well. This is really working out. Sending those messages, just getting ahead of people trying to get rid of stuff is really seeming to work out. So this is a strategy I'm definitely going to continue doing moving forward. So let me package these up, and I'll show you how much we made on the actual show. If I can clear $120, I made my entire money back on the watch part lot, and the rest will go to servicing these, which will help us in the long run. All right, I'm putting the microphone on because something crazy just happened. I was just out with my wife, and I got 2 people that responded to me for watches. And this gentleman sent me 25 vintage watches and also 7 pocket watches. And I said, those look pretty cool. Do you know if they're running or anything? He's like, I'm not sure. Haven't tested them in a while. So I said, okay, well, what would you like to get for the lot? And he's like, I'd need a decent offer. I'm like, okay, what are you thinking? He said $45. 45 bucks? Absolutely. So I'm going to be meeting him here in just a few minutes, and I told him I'm also interested in any t-shirts, because the original posting he posted was for Harley Davidson helmets. And he's like, I just have a bunch of old Harley t-shirts, nothing crazy. I was like, bring those too. I'll bring some extra cash. So we might score some really good Harley Davidson t-shirts as a bonus. But then something just happened. I literally just walked in the door, and this gentleman said, hey, I've got, the one on the left is a steel Seiko, and the other one's an Eddie Bauer. And the pictures didn't come in until like 10 minutes ago. And he sends me this. Can you guys see that? Can you see it? Do you know what that is? This watch right here is one of my holy grail watches for a vintage watch that I've been looking for. And I actually almost bought one like a couple weeks ago, and they're like 600 bucks or more, or, you know, they're easily around the $600 range. And if I can make a good deal on this one, oh, this is going to be like the best watch deal I've ever gotten. So I am so excited. I am praying this guy gives me a good offer. I asked what he'd like to take for both of them, and he hasn't responded yet. So I'll let you guys know what we get it for. That is, if we get it. All right, guys. So I don't really know how I'm going to film this, but I'm going to meet 3 people from our texting adventure, and I'm just going to show you guys at the end. If I can film anything, I will, but I'll show you at the end all that we find. I'm super, super excited about this. All right, guys, I'm back home, so let's take a look at some of the loot that we got today. I'm super stoked to show you. All right, we're going to start over on this side of the house. These are the ladies' watches that are not functioning. This Benros is really, really cool. It's got like gemstones or something. But these are the watches that I've wound, and they don't seem to be working. But they have value as projects. So this is a, nice little set. This one's a quartz watch, a lady's quartz watch. That's super nice. And this one, though, this one is a Champ from the 1920s. Let me pop this open really quick. Absolutely stunning internals. And I'm pretty sure this is 10 karat solid gold. I don't know for sure. It does say 930 on there. But when I looked this up, a similar one popped up, and it was marked as 10 karat gold. So I don't know if this is gold filled, but it's got that really rich color, and I'm thinking this might actually be 10 karat solid gold. And I want to close it, but I don't know why it's not closing. There we go. It closed. So I don't see any markings on the outside, but I'm going to be doing more research into this. It's not currently running, but I don't know if this just needs a service or I'll just sell it as is. But that is a cool piece. We have some Citizens watches here. This is a Ladies Citizens Quartz. We got to try that out. We have a Seiko Ladies Quartz. So that is a beautiful watch there in great condition. This is a women's Elgin that has a little bit of scratches on it, but overall the condition's really good. And then we have an Indiglo, which I believe is Timex. So nothing too crazy on this one, but it is clean. Down here we have another ladies watch that is just like some sort of cuff, nothing crazy there. We have these men's watches. This is a Kenneth Cole. This is a New York something, a Chariot, and a Chronotron, which is not running. I'm not sure what it needs. I don't know if it's a battery operated watch or what, but I don't know. These are kind of like the so-so watches. This is a vintage Eddie Bauer. I wasn't too excited about the Eddie Bauer when the guy mentioned it, but it has a really nice dial, and this is vintage. So I think this goes for around $60 to $70, so I'll take that all day long. But then we get into some fun stuff, some really fun stuff. Hopefully the light's not blowing it all out. But to start the show, we have this automatic Seiko DX 17 jewel. And this is a fantastic watch. I thought it was not running, but when I got it home, it started to run. And I kind of shook it in my hand. I wore it for a little bit. It wasn't running. Now it's running perfect. It's keeping great time. So I'm so excited about that Seiko. That's a big come up. We got this vintage Timex automatic with the black dial. Could use a new crystal, but these Timexes are just absolutely awesome. I love them. I think they're underrated. This probably won't go for a ton of money, but it is a lot of bang for your buck and a guaranteed sale. Like, that is going to sell no problem. This one I don't know much about. It's like Lucerine or something. Lucerine. I can't pronounce that. If you guys know how to pronounce that down in the comments, let me know. Let me see if I can get this to focus a bit more, but well, maybe I can zoom in. Hold on. There we go. Lucerne, something like that, but it's running great. So this was a really fun timepiece to find. I'm going to stick with this zoomed in bit here. So this is another vintage Timex here. You can see there's a crack in this one, but a new crystal will do this one just fine. Here's a newer watch. This is a Citizen Eco Drive, also keeping good time, but it has some issues. It's got a chip here and needs a pin to go through the bracelet before we could do anything with it, but it is running. Next, we have this one here. This is a Newbrook, which I'm not really quite sure what to make of this watch. Can't really find much information on it. The strap is super cheap, but it's working well. It's a manual wind, and I don't know. I don't know much about it. If you guys know anything about these, let me know, but I'll do some more research on this one here. We also got an assortment of pocket watches. We have pocket watches that don't work. We have a Bullseye here. We have a Geneva Railway watch that doesn't work, or not currently running, I should say. This little guy here, I'm not really sure what this is, but that's not running. And then this one I can't get to work. This is basketball, football. Oh, it is running. Look at that. Wait a minute. It's running. The seconds hand is running. Oh, I think it's a stopwatch. Oh, you move this up, and then the seconds go. And then you push it down, and the seconds stop. Seconds up, and it's going.
Oh, that's cool. All right, so this works. I'll have to look into this, but that is a really cool pickup. This one is part of a clock, and I think it's part of a clock. It's oriented the wrong direction, but this is says Liverpool on it, and it's running great. It's keeping good time, so we'll have to look into that and see what we can do with that. Not sure if there's going to be much we can do, but that's all right. We got ourselves a West Clocks pocket, a pocket Ben. And this thing is it's pretty cool. It ticks really loud, but it's keeping great time, and a nice little pocket watch. And then the crowning jewel of the pocket watches is this Caravel. It's got service paperwork, comes with a case. It's very clean. I looked these up. They're going for over $115. Some are going closer to $150, so that's a great pickup there. And then we have all these ladies' watches that are running. Let me show you a few of my favorite. This is a Bulova. We got 2 of these Bulovas that are keeping great time. And we bought 3 for $20 today. And only 1 out of the 3 is not running. This one's really pretty. I like this one a lot. That's a super cool one. This one is my favorite of the ladies' watches. Look at this thing. Absolutely stunning. This is another Bulova. Got to do some more research into this one. I haven't even looked it up yet, but the case design is stunning. Got a lot of nice details on there. Absolutely gorgeous. Vintage women's Bulova, keeping great time so far. I usually will let these run for 24 hours before I make a judgment call on whether they're running really well or not. But we got some other ladies' watches here. This one is called an Orvin. Never heard of that one, but that's a nice running watch here. And then this one is my absolute favorite. I cannot believe this came up. And that, of course, is the Seiko Bullhead. This watch is iconic. I love this thing. It is so chunky and funky. It's wider at the back than it is at the front. This is a chronograph, so you can set the seconds off, and you can kind of use it as a stopwatch or to figure out how fast the vehicle's going. And then you can stop it. And a lot of the times when these things need service, when you hit the reset, it doesn't go to dead center. But this, boom, dead center. So it needs a cleaning, might need a new crystal, but this is a massive, massive come up. This is, again, one of my holy grail watches. I absolutely love how funky and chunky it is. And I cannot believe I got this for $125. And this one came with that Eddie Bauer. All right, so that's not all that we got out there. I told all of the people that I talked to that, hey, I buy graphic t-shirts as well, so bring those along if you want. Now, I did kind of get finessed on the price a little bit, but I think there's still room for profit. I paid up $120 for all these shirts, and the first one is this cross-country shirt from 1998, and the gentleman I bought this from is the 9th fastest man in America at that time. He missed out from going to the Olympics. They took the top 5. He was number 9. And it's just got a really cool graphic. So I think that's a pretty cool shirt. It's going to be niche. I don't know how many people are going to want it, but they get better as they go along here. We have a vintage Disney Binford Tools. Real men don't need instructions. And this is the parts store from Tim the Toolman Taylor, if you guys remember that show. And the last sold comp on this was $39, so not too bad. And then we get into some Harley shirts. Check this out. So we have this Columbia, Connecticut 2005 Harley Davidson shirt, which has a nice graphic. These are good sizes. They're about XL to 2XL. This is a Dream Ride shirt, so this is local. It's a, it's just like a ride shirt for Harley Davidsons and cars and things like that. So not crazy good, but still a cool shirt. We got another one of those Dream Rides from 2004. Should have looked at these two closer. I probably would have left them behind, but that's okay. We got this one from 2018, which is a great logo and a great design on this one. I really like it. And, nothing too crazy. I'd love to have them be like 80s or 90s, but that's okay. We got this one. This is where their factory is. They had a factory tour, and the guy got a shirt. This is another one from 2018, but 2018 they did have some good graphics. I do like these graphics. You know, not too bad, not too bad. This is a cool one because it's a very cool color. This is a Savannah, Georgia Harley Davidson t-shirt in blue, size large. So it's a great size. This one's another 2018. He loved this one because he said this is the same exact bike he had. So that's a cool graphic there. Good reason to like that. And then these are my favorites. This one right here. This is a York, PA t-shirt. And I don't know, it's hard for me to read the date, but I believe it's 2009. And it's got this cool eagle graphic on it. And it's a nice blue eagle. I like it. That's a really cool design for me. And then this one is really cool. This is the oldest one, I believe. I think this is a 2006. 2006. I think there was a 2005. But this is one of the oldest ones. It's got this bulldog logo, 2XL, great size. And then, guys, I already sold one. Check this out. My buddy collects these things, and he took this one because it was the right size for him. He paid $20 for it. This is the Alamo. And he also picked up 2 pins because we also got some pins with the shirts. This one says Dealer Event, Hog, Harley Davidson. And then this one is a Harley's Owner Group pin from 1983. Then the last shirt I kept for myself for now while I can still fit in it. The Junkyard Jamboree event. I think it's local to Connecticut, and that's the back hit. It's pretty cool. I like it. Woo, woo. So that's the shirts. And there are the pins. These are mostly local pins, so nothing too crazy here. But it is cool to get some pins along with the shirts. Okay, so I have to include this in this video. This is a little bit of a bonus because I didn't think this deal was going to go the way I thought it was going to go. But this guy who messaged me at the beginning of this challenge and then stopped messaging me, he hit me up with a few more watches. And he's like, dude, I'd like to get this deal done. What do you think about $140? And I said, yeah, absolutely. And he has some pretty cool watches in here. So I'm just going to go pick these up really quick, and then we'll do a layout on this as well. And I'm honestly flabbergasted at how well this strategy has gone so far. So I'm going to pick these up. If these are legit pieces and they're not fakes, then I think we're doing incredibly good. So stay tuned. I will be right back. All right. So I just realized I didn't record the watches when I got them, but I do have a single little frame. See, I started recording here and then I hit the record button thinking I was recording and I stopped recording. So I already sold this watch here. That's an Invicta. That watch over there, that's a Geneva. This is a fake Tag Heuer. It's not real. It's a Fugazi. And then over here, there was a swatch that was also not working. I was able to sell the Geneva, the swatch, and the Invicta. Also, this is a Citizens. I thought this was working. It wasn't working. I sold this one, this one, this one, and this one for a total of $25 as projects on whatnot. So we made 25 bucks here. So we made 25 bucks there, but we still have some exciting watches left. Check it out. All right, so starting over here, we have this Luminox. This kind of looks like a tag. It's not a tag, but it's running and it's got a good bracelet. I like the bracelet. The bracelet says Tag Heuer on it, but I think that is a fake tag logo. But the watch itself is cool. It's clean and it's running. So that's a win. Right here we have a Bulova, and this is, I believe, a Marine Star 200 meter quartz watch, which is in pretty decent shape. Someone obviously put a different strap on here because this is like a gold color, and I don't think that's the original strap. It was probably on a metal band. But this is a good pickup. This one's also running. This one I had no idea was worth money. This is a Rado, R-A-D-O, Jubilee. And this is a really, really nice watch made of good materials. It feels better in the hand. I thought this was like a Walmart brand, but apparently this is actually pretty valuable. Moving on, we got this Invicta Aviator. I have not tested it because it needs a battery, but overall it's really clean. And Invictas move pretty well for me, and I'm excited to have
an Invicta in the mix here because that is an easy sale. But then last but not least is this guy here. This is a Borel, and this Borel is so cool. Let me zoom in. Look at that. That is like the coolest thing. And then look at this. Open case back, automatic, running. I guess this is a manual wind. It's not an automatic, but it's in great shape. I polished up the crystal a little bit. It came out really, really nice. And this is also going for good money. So this was a good lot for the $120. The guy was kind of weird. He wanted me to drive to a second location and he wanted to take my truck. So he wanted to get in my truck to go to a second location to pick up like 5 more watches, which he sent me pictures of, and they were like legit trash watches. So I was like, don't get in my truck. I'll just take these, no problem at all. Or did I say 120? 140. So as you guys can see, this was a phenomenal success. I cannot believe how well it worked. Try this out in your area. Let me know if it works for you. I know this is niche towards watches, but you can technically apply this to anything you want. Video games, graphic tees, sports apparel, trading cars, coins, anything. I'm also going to continue doing this along the challenge, so if I find any good deals, I'll certainly post them here for you guys to see. If you guys want a chance to get some of these watches and watches in the future, go follow me on Whatnot, where we go live and sell watches on there. Also check out my eBay page, which I got to figure out how to link. I'll see if I can do that before this video's out. I don't know. If I'm successful, it'll be down in the description. That's all I got for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you on the next video.